Hi guys, it's Ben here, transmitting to you directly from the T-Rex space station, firing lasers and eating herbivores. Now, one of the things that's been pretty interesting to talk about recently is retro remake games. You know, the sort of thing that I'm talking about. Games that have been revisited from the past and given, you know, a lick of new paint. Sometimes, if you're lucky, of course, there'll be a bit of extra content added as well, new collectibles, achievements, things that may have not been in the original games. Now, there was actually a question asked for all the people that joined Retro Unlim for their profiles about what they thought of these types of games. And on the whole, I'm pretty much in favour of retro remakes. I think that it can be kind of hard to play old games on new systems, and sometimes it's sort of nice to have them updated, brought to the future, and presented in a modern style. It really depends on kind of what angle is taken. Now, if you were cynical, you could say that people were kind of cashing in on those sorts of things. You know, if people are charging a lot of money for it, you kind of think, are people just ripping me off for basically a game that's already been made with very little new content? And I suppose there are some examples of where that whole retro remake thing has been done badly or just done wrong. One of the cool things about some of the retro remakes is they're actually fan-made. I know that the new Leisure Suit Larry game is completely free to download and was made by basically a fan. And that's very cool. That's kind of like giving something back to the community, giving something back to people that originally liked that game, and just yeah, kind of giving a treat to people that you know, like you, may have enjoyed that title. So yeah, I'm pretty positive about retro remakes. However, today I want to talk about when things go the other way. That's when new games come out that are presented with retro-looking graphics or have retro-style gameplay or elements of old games in them. Now, I've said before that graphics really aren't a big deal for me. You know, I play games because of the gameplay elements. Whether they're good or bad kind of rests on how much fun I can have in terms of gameplay mechanics and what's involved in it. However, even though I'm not put off by graphics, sometimes I go a bit further than that and say that I actually like games that look old. I very much enjoy the old pixel art or pixelated style of games, and actually these types of approaches to video games are really popular. I mean, you've only got to look at things like Minecraft to see that you know, it doesn't have to look modern to be popular, because I think Minecraft looks really retro, very blocky. It reminds me of some of the early kind of 3D games on the PS1 and perhaps early PS2. And an example I often come back to is the LucasArts games, which they were hand-drawn, so they will always look phenomenal. They just look kind of timeless. So yeah, increasingly there are games coming out that actually are purposefully made to look old school. And especially on Steam these days, there are lots of really great titles that just harken back to a bit of a bygone era. Now, the game that I'm showing here is called, well, I don't really know how to call it, perhaps V, or it's a lot of V's anyway. And as you can see, the graphics look really, really beautiful but dated, and it just kind of gives me that warm feeling as though I'm playing a game that was released in like 1982 or something. And I love the kind of 8-bit sound effects, which is just really great. And I kind of like a modern spin on old game styles. You know, there is something about old games, in terms, especially platformers, where you have to basically practice and learn new skills to progress. And V kind of captures that essence very well. As you can see from the gameplay footage, you will die a lot and you have to keep repeating things and slowly get better at it as time goes along. However, it's slightly less punishing than how games used to be. A lot of Mega Drive games, if you screwed up, you would have to you'd run out of lives and you'd have to restart. This game works on checkpoints, so if you do go amiss, you can usually retry it again within a couple of seconds, which makes it a little bit less punishing and a little bit less devastating when you do it. But yeah, I just wonder if what you guys think about this. New games that are made to look old. Is that something that you're interested in, or would you rather just play the original style of games? And also, perhaps you guys can recommend some games that are modern, that have retro features, whether that's how they look or how they play, or even just the sound effects. Because there are some great games out there. I remember doing a gameplay video of Super Wagon Adventure, which is another really, really fun game, where people have used old school graphics very humorously and to kind of create a new feel. So yeah, I don't really think it's a rehashing in a sense. I just think it's kind of an appreciation of a bygone time, and that's something, well, something really nice, I guess. I suppose that, I mean, there are some really fantastic looking platform games coming out these days. I mean, even back on the Wii, if you look at games like Muramusa the Demon Blade and A Boy and His Blob, really nice hand-drawn looking games. But, you know, the platform game is a pretty old, historic genre now. You know, it's been around for a long time. And maybe we're at the point where we can't go that much further with how graphically beautiful a platform game can be. And so maybe that's why people are just like going back to the old school, make it all about the gameplay, make it very simple graphically, and get it out there. And that's what I love about Steam. It kind of encourages people just to make games quite quickly that may be quite basic, but the ones that are really fun and that can spread, you know, kind of like wildfire. Especially because they don't use that much resources, I imagine. You know, this game I picked up in the Steam winter sales for, I think it was 40p, which is just great. And there are so many indie games coming out now that have fantastic gameplay and harken back to those bygone days of platformers and retro-looking graphics. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Take care, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye.